After a 3-year investigation, the Department of Justice believes the Phoenix Police Department is historically bad. That's not hyperbole. Just read the DOJ's 126-page report. And that's why, so far, the DOJ says federal oversight appears they believe to be the only way to fix Phoenix PD.
But Arizona Democratic Congressman Ruben Gallego doesn't think so. Gallego sent the DOJ this letter saying Phoenix does not need their oversight and believes the city can police itself. Letter comes in the middle of a race in which he's running for U.S. Senate and just one day after the endorsement of the state's main police union. That endorsement and the letter were both a surprise. Now, to put this all into perspective, we have team coverage for you tonight.
ABC 15 Chief Investigator Dave Biskobing is here to explain more about the letter, and then our ABC 15 political team is breaking down the politics of all of this. And then ABC 15 Senior Investigator Melissa Blasius will show you more of what's inside the DOJ's report.
Let's start with Dave, and no one has investigated Phoenix police more than he has, and he's here now to put Gallego's letter into context.
To be honest, there's not a lot in Representative Gallego's letter that's new. It's a lot of the same talking points from the police union, lawyers for police officers, and critics of the DOJ investigation. The letter is a page and a half, and here's the bottom line. Gallego doesn't want the DOJ to impose a, quote, consent decree on Phoenix PD. Basically, that's federal oversight over how they run their department. Gallego wrote consent decrees have a mixed record. They take too long, cost too much, and his letter was sent to U.S. Assistant Attorney General Kristen Clark. Now, here's what she said when announcing the results of the Phoenix PD investigation.
This is one instance where we can't count on the police to police themselves. While the city has undertaken some preliminary steps, our findings today reveal very significant and severe violations of federal law and the Constitution.
In the letter, this was Gallego's first main point. After a 3-year investigation, the DOJ's findings report references a mere 120 or so unspecified incidents across 8 years of data and an estimated 6 million calls for service throughout that period. That's misleading. The 120 incidents cited in the DOJ's report are not all of the cases where they found problems. The feds say they are key examples used to highlight patterns of problems. There's a lot of other cases that aren't in the report. Here's an example. Phoenix police left this man in a mental health crisis dying in a jail cell. No one was disciplined. The case highlighting many of the problems found by the DOJ, like dangerous restraint techniques, delaying medical aid, mistreating people with behavioral health issues, and failing to hold officers accountable. Gallego's letter also says a consent decree could last 10 years and cost $50 million. To put that into perspective, Phoenix PD's annual budget is about $1 billion. Over 10 years, $50 million would end up being less than 1% of Phoenix PD's budget. Gallego also wrote that a consent decree would spark a staffing crisis, and that's why the DOJ should utilize a technical assistance letter. That's basically a letter with recommendations and no oversight. And as a final point, Gallego writes that Phoenix is already reforming itself, so it can be trusted to fix its own problems. Now, we don't want you to take anyone's word about any of this. That's why for the past 6 weeks, we've been turning the DOJ's written report into a video series. Now, reading a report or a letter is one thing, but seeing real video from real cases is something completely different. And later in this show, you'll see another one of our stories in that series, our 23rd story, actually. I'm investigator Dave Biskobing, ABC 15, Arizona.
We have reached out to Gallego's campaign for comment, but he has not returned our calls nor texts.
We did hear